Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with us today. What we're going to talk about today is what happens, what do you need as you get older? Now, we're going to talk from a health standpoint. We're going to talk about Social Security or Medicare or whatever it is. But when I say older, really after about 25 or 30, these requirements kick in. Now, they're there beforehand, but when you're young, you can muscle through a lot of things. And you're not supposed to muscle through a lot of things. And I found this out as I got older. And it'd be great if everybody did these things early on in life. We would avoid a whole lot of health problems. So we're going to talk about the things you need as you get older. First question that comes up, especially from women, is calcium. So as you age, you start to lose more minerals than your body can absorb. So you go into a negative balance. That really is the issue of aging. Aging is you're losing more stuff than you can take in and heal. And that's one of the reasons why it's so easy to fight Father Time. It really is. You can do things every single day to help you absorb the nutrients so your body functions like it's a lot younger. So if you run out of calcium, it can make your bones brittle. It's called osteoporosis, especially for women after menopause, but it can happen really to anybody. Calcium helps your muscles, your nerves, your cells, your blood vessels all do their job. And you get most of it in the bones from your food, and it can move around too. It can be transferred out of the bones into the blood, so the calcium can move back and forth. So women over 50 and men over 70 get about 20%, need about 20% more than most other adults. But here's the catch. You know me, I always have a catch there. You don't need more calcium in your diet. If you're eating a good diet, which consists of the things I've taught you over the years, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, taking good supplements, not a calcium supplement, just regular supplements, you don't need more calcium. Because there's a study, I talked about it last week, it's called the nurses study, and it's been going on for a long time. And they study nurses through their whole life cycle. And, from when they start the study till they die, and they say, okay, what was this nurse's life like? What did she eat? What was her social life? What was her activity levels? And then they can say, wow, this, there's thousands of women involved in it. Well, nurses, not just women. I don't know if it's just women. Anyway, what they found was, one of the surprising things, was that the more dairy products you consume, the higher the rate of osteoporosis. More dairy products you consume, the higher the rate of osteoporosis. That's counterintuitive. You would think, well, no, Dr. Joe, I need calcium. Milk has calcium. I drink milk. I have plenty of calcium. Wrong answer. Two things happen with milk or dairy products. Number one is when they're pasteurized, the calcium can bind to something called casein, which is a protein. And when the calcium binds to the casein, it's not free calcium, not absorbable calcium. So it's not usable. And you need an enzyme called renin to break down the casein. Now, we as humans don't produce renin, so we don't have casein. We don't break down the casein, so we don't produce renin as adults. So that's one problem. The other problem is that dairy products have two amino acids in them called methionine and cysteine. Methionine and cysteine are acids. Now, when you put acid in your body, the body has to neutralize those acids. And the body uses calcium as its primary neutralizing agent. So where does the body get calcium from? Well, we store it in the bones. We talked about that earlier. It can be stored in the bones. And so the body has to give up calcium to neutralize the acid in the blood, because if the blood goes too acidic, you die. So the body, in an attempt to keep you alive, uses calcium from the bones. And over time, can make the bones brittle. So you don't really need more calcium in most cases. You need less acid. And there's 7 acid foods, well, a lot of acid foods, but the big 7 that I talk about are what I call the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Now, if you're new to the show and you just heard me say alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, your first thought is, but Dr. Joe, that's my whole diet. I would starve if I can't eat alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, and the answer is you will not. I don't eat alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, and I'm doing just fine. And I've been doing it for about 35, 36 years now. So it really does work. If this lifestyle that I teach you guys didn't work, I would be sucking down meatball sandwiches every day. I liked meatball sandwiches when I used to eat them. But I have to look at something whenever I eat anything and say, is this the best choice that I can make right now? And if the answer is no, make a different choice. It's just that simple. Don't eat foods that you shouldn't be eating. Don't eat foods that are bad for you. It's really simple. Nobody's forcing food into your mouth. But I know they taste good. But acid foods will suck calcium out of the body. And if you're eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, none of those except dairy have calcium in them. And the calcium in dairy, we just said, is bound to casein when it's pasteurized, so you really can't utilize it. So not only are you not putting calcium in, you're sucking calcium out. So if you have a high acid diet, not a good idea. So you want to eat more fruits and vegetables because they're loaded with things like calcium. But bones, if we talk about just bones here, bones are not just calcium. You have a lot of calcium. It's kind of like making a cake. You have a lot of flour, right? And then you add some sugar to it. And then you add little things, baking soda, vanilla, salt, little tiny ingredients that make the cake. You can't get the cake right if you don't add just these little amounts of these little ingredients. So you need boron, you need silica, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin K2 to drive the calcium into the bones. So it's not all about calcium. And that's one of the biggest lies you've been told about osteoporosis. Yeah, it's about calcium, but it's a lot more than just calcium. And it's different types of calcium. It's calcium citrate, good form. Calcium carbonate, not a good form. Most calcium supplements on the market, if you're getting them over the counter, are going to be calcium carbonate. It's a cheap form of calcium. It's chalk. It's a chalk you ride on the sidewalk with. It doesn't absorb very well, and it can block up your receptor sites, so you can't absorb other good forms of calcium. So one of the things we need in our body is a good diet as we get older so that you get the proper nutrients, one of them being calcium. Another nutrient that we get deficient of, as we get older, is vitamin B12. Now, you can get vitamin B12 from animal products like meats and fish and dairies and eggs. But, I don't like you eating those foods because the downside far outweighs any benefit that might be there. So then we say, Dr. Joe, where am I going to get my vitamin B12 from? Well, it's the only supplement that if you're eating a good plant-based vegan diet, the only supplement that you have to supplement with, I like to supplement other supplements too, but you're not going to get B12 really. You might get a little bit from ripe fruit, but I take it as a supplement. Now, you can get foods that are fortified with B12, but again, it's added to the foods. Cereals might have that, but most Americans, if they're eating the standard American diet, and this is the only time I'll probably ever say something like this, the one nutrient you're getting enough of if you're eating a bad diet is B12. The one nutrient you're not getting enough of if you're in a good diet is B12. And so it's a good idea to supplement with that. Now, other things can prevent you from absorbing B12, and we're talking about getting older today. So as you get older, there's something in your stomach, it's called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor allows you to absorb vitamin B12. As you get older, your intrinsic factor plummets. And as your intrinsic factor plummets, you don't absorb as much B12. Many of you out there have acid reflux. How many people have acid reflux? Raise your hands. A lot of you do. So if you have acid reflux, you might be taking medication for your acid reflux. Well, one of the things that the acid reflux medication does is it lowers your stomach acid. Well, you need stomach acid, not dietary acid, but stomach acid to absorb B12 and make the intrinsic factor work. So you're not getting enough B12. Maybe you are if you're eating a bad diet, but you're not absorbing the B12, and that's really the most important thing. So if you have acid reflux, you might want to consider coming to see us because we can actually adjust or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. We pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. Many times that solves the acid reflux, so hopefully you won't need the medication. I can't tell you to come off the medication. That's not my job. We can try to get you well enough so you don't need the medication. How's that for a better idea? So if the stomach is up against your diaphragm causing acid reflux, we might have to pull the stomach away from the diaphragm and get it to relax so that you can start digesting food properly and you can cut out the medication, and then the intrinsic factor works better. I just take a supplement every day. Then the nice part about vitamin B12 is if you take too much of it, you pee it out. So it's not like you're going to overdose on vitamin B12. I mean, you could if you ate a bottle of it. But it's also in Dr. Joe's Essential Source. If you take Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which, by the way, everyone should be taking Super Greens and Essential Source. They're the two minimum supplements everybody should be taking. They're two powders. They taste great. Leave it on your counter. When you wake up in the morning, you see it every day. Take a scoop of each, mix it up with some coconut milk, almond milk. I had a frozen banana with mine this morning and some coconut milk, and drink it every day. Can't imagine why you wouldn't be doing that. It's the minimum supplements everybody should be taking. So that would solve that problem. I also take Dr. Joe's B complex because as I'm getting older, I don't absorb B vitamins like I used to. And so I'd rather err on the side of caution. And a lot of things I teach you, err on the side of caution. I ran into one of my coworkers the other day at the station. And he said, Dr. Joe, in his British accent, Dr. Joe, diverticulitis, not fun. That was his statement to me. I said, it's not. He goes, oh boy, let me tell you, man, it hurt. He says, I was doubled over in pain. And I suggested, well, you might want to cut out wheat and dairy products. He says, I asked my doctor about diet, and she said, well, some studies show it can help, some studies show it doesn't. Let's assume, just for a second, that it doesn't help changing your diet. Why wouldn't you do it anyway? Err on the side of caution, because there's tons of studies showing it. I've seen countless patients with digestive problems. We change their diet, and they get amazing results. So consider that. Err on the side of caution. I promise you, anything I've ever told you, there's a study out there countering that, disagreeing with me, contradicting what I just said. But I read meta-analysis, it's called. Meta-analysis when you read a lot of different research on the same topic. And you do a meta-analysis, and the meta-analysis says, generally speaking, this is where we should go with these things. So in my meta-analysis research that I do literally every day on health and wellness, the meta-analysis says these are the things that work. So B12, you might want to fix your stomach so you can absorb it and hopefully get off those medications, because those medications can prevent you from absorbing calcium, B12, iron, and magnesium. So not a good thing. Another supplement that you need, everyone needs, and you need as you get older especially, is vitamin D. Now, your body needs vitamin D to absorb calcium. So you take it in tandem if you're taking calcium supplements or just eating a good diet so that you can absorb your calcium. Vitamin D helps your muscles, your nerves, your immune system. Most people, the only vitamin D they get are from fortified foods like milk, which you shouldn't be drinking anyway, in my opinion, or they're out in the sun. But a lot of us don't go out in the sun anymore. When I was a kid, we were out every day. Now, very seldom do you see kids outside. By the pool, you see these ghosts walking around. They're so dark, so white. So your body takes vitamin D, UVB rays from the sun, converts it with cholesterol, and creates vitamin D, and then hydroxy butyl 25 anyway. And I'm not going to give you chemistry. It uses the vitamin D3. Now, if you're taking a supplement, make sure it is vitamin D3 and not vitamin D2, which is what a lot of foods are formulated or fortified with. Because D2 has to be converted into D3 in the body. Why not just take the easier to absorb already converted form, which is D3? I like to take vitamin K2 with vitamin D3. I sat in my office the other day, and two saleswomen came by, and they were trying to talk about supplements. And I said, well, what about vitamin D? Do you have a good vitamin D supplement? And I said, I noticed you have one here in your catalog, but it doesn't have K2. And I said, that's curious. Why is that? And I'd asked this question to them a couple of years ago. And I said, we talked to our researchers, and they said, most people, if they're eating a good diet, get enough K2 from their foods, and so we don't have to add it. And then, of course, my response was, tongue-in-cheek, how many people eat a good diet? Good point, they said. So that's why our vitamin D3 has vitamin K2 in it. And if you go to our website, drjoe.com, we have all our supplements there that I recommend. And, of course, the Super Greens and Essential Source everybody should be taking. But we also have the D3 there as well with the K2 in it. So if I'm eating a good diet and I have a little extra K2, that's okay. If I'm eating a bad diet, I need that extra K2 because you'll absorb calcium with D3, but the calcium can then sit around in your soft tissue, your muscles, your blood vessels, and build up. That's dangerous. Vitamin D3 helps you absorb the calcium. Vitamin K2 drives it into the bones. So that's why you need vitamin K2 with your D3. In the winter, it is so important that you take vitamin D every day. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Now, sometimes the doctors will say, well, I'm going to give you 50,000 international units. Take it once a week. I don't like that approach. The reason is you can only absorb so much of anything at one time. And number two, that pill that they give you is vitamin D2. I like vitamin D3. So I just take Dr. Joe's. It's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. I take 5 drops a day. And I just mix it with my Super Greens and Essential Source. I mix up the powders, Super Green Essential Source, a little plant milk, a couple of drops of vitamin D3, chug it down. That's my morning. That's how I start every morning. And I don't know why you're not doing that either, because it's really good for you. It's really inexpensive. It's a great way to start the day, great source of energy, minimum supplements you need every day. No doubt, tastes good. There's no downside to it. So drjoe.com, drjoe.com, you can pick that up. We talked a little bit about B vitamins before. As you get older, we don't absorb nutrients like we used to, and B vitamins is one of them. B6 can help your immune system, can also give you a lot of energy. It's important for babies, helps their brain grow. Now, you need more B6 as you get older. Studies have found that links between high B6 blood levels in seniors, and the link is with better memory. So the more B6. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for that, because like I said, there's a study out there for everything on both sides. People that eat a good diet probably are getting more B6. If you're getting more B6, you have a better brain. But is it from B6 or is it from a healthier diet? I don't care. Right? What does Alita Adams say? I don't care how you get here. Just get here if you can. That's an old song. I don't care how you got there. I don't care how your brain works better. Let's just do everything we can to make it work. And we may find out in the future it was B6. We may find out it wasn't B6. It was a good diet. Well, I don't want to take those chances. You only get one shot. This isn't dress rehearsal. I don't want to take any chances on not getting well. So I do what I can all the time. But Super Greens, Essential Source, a great source of B12 as well. Chickpeas is great, very inexpensive. If you're not making chickpeas part of your diet, you probably should. You could add them to salads. You can make soups out of them. You can make dips out of them. You can make hummus out of them. They're really inexpensive. You can get $1 a can of organic chickpeas at Kroger. You can buy dried chickpeas. You can sprout them and make hummus. It's a different flavor hummus if you ever do it with sprouted chickpeas, but they're good too. So, yeah, chickpeas, great source of nutrients and very inexpensive. That's just another. We talked about Dr. Hacks last week. Well, that's a Dr. Hack from Dr. Joe. Other things we need to do, we need to take care of our joints. Not the kind you roll up, your actual joints in your body. But neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. Sometimes you're walking, your knee gives out. You wake up, your shoulder's killing. You have headaches. I didn't have this when I was younger. I hear that all the time. Well, the body's getting weaker. The blood supply to the joints is getting less. And so you don't have the functionality that you had when you were younger. And you don't have the ability to heal. So if a joint moves out of alignment, and it does on everyone, joints move out of alignment, one of the things that happens is it can hurt. So if you have pain, chances are very high it's because it's a bone out of place pinching a nerve. Now, it could be a tumor, it could be cancer, it could be a lot of different things. But major majority of it is it's a bone out of place pinching a nerve. So you probably want to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. And let's check your joints. There's 206 bones in the body, so we can check all of them if we need to. We probably won't. But we want to check the joints to see if they're out of alignment, and let's realign them. It is the simplest, easiest thing that you can do to turn back time, is keep those joints mobile and keep them lined up properly. So if you have pain, you'd like to come see us, just go to our website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment. We can usually get you an appointment in 24 hours if you need it, sometimes even the same day. But if you need to spread it out, that's fine too. We accept people with all insurances. It depends what your coverage is. We don't know what your coverage is. And even within the same company, there's different policies. So we accept people with all insurance. If it doesn't cover, we have payment plans. We have cash plans. We have no interest payment plans available. We do everything we can to make it easy for you. Normally, the first visit is $712. Because you're one of our listeners, we've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on your follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. So we do everything we can to make it as comfortable as possible for you to be a patient with us. And we have multiple offices. My doctors, I consider some of the finest in the world. So drjoe.com, you can book an appointment right now. Do it right now. We'd love to have you come in as soon as possible. Other things we need as we get older, one of them is magnesium. It's probably one of the nutrients that we're most deficient in. It helps you make protein. It helps your bones work. It keeps your blood sugar stable. You can get it from nuts, from seeds, from green leafy vegetables. But older people tend to eat less of it. Plus, they're more likely to have long-term conditions or take medications that can utilize or use up their magnesium. Magnesium does over 300 different functions in the body. And so many people are deficient in magnesium because you're not eating the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the seeds. You don't get magnesium from eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And so we add that to our Dr. Joe's Essential Source. So if you're taking Essential Source, again, another reason why you should take Essential Source, because it's a supplement that has so many things in it, including magnesium. But beans, quinoa, nuts and seeds, legumes, great sources of magnesium. And again, if you're eating a good diet, it goes back to this again. If you're eating a good diet, you're eating more good food and eating less bad food. So it's not only that you're putting good stuff in, you're not putting the bad stuff in. So there's a million reasons to eat a good diet. There's only one that prevents people from doing it. What do you think that is? The one reason people don't eat good food is because the bad food tastes good. You can get cheap good food. You can get legumes. You can get lentils and split peas and chickpeas and quinoa and vegetables and potatoes. And so much better choices across the board if you're eating good foods. So consider that. It's a lot cheaper to eat healthy than it is to eat poorly. So if you don't know what to eat, go to our website, drjoe.com, and you can listen to the show we did called So What Can I Eat? Just type in So What Can I Eat in the search bar. So one of my coworkers at the station the other day asked me, they said, I heard you say the other day that you have over 3,000 hours of training, audio and video. I said, yeah. She said, that's amazing. I said, yeah. She goes, I've been to your site and I've looked things up, and it's really easy to look things up. So just type what you're looking for in the search bar, and chances are you'll find what you're looking for. Please follow us on social media. My handle is at Dr. Joe Esposito, all one word, at DRJOE, Dr. Joe Esposito. We post just about every single day. We'd love to put you part of that. It's free. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. I mean, there's nothing not to like. I mean, we send you out good stuff every day. And many times we give away things. We give away supplements. We give away concert tickets in the past. So, yeah, I can allure you to follow us. There's a lot of reasons to follow us and no reasons not to. At Dr. Joe Esposito. If you're a podcast junkie, this and many, many other podcasts are on our podcast service. Just go to your service and type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it, all separate words. And you can listen to hundreds of hours of podcasts, thousands of hours on our website, I guess thousands of hours on our YouTube channel by now, SoundCloud. We have it everywhere. So the website's a great source of information, drjoe.com. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website. I'm happy to answer your questions for you, drjoe.com. So we're talking today about things that we need as we get older. And what else happens is our colon and our digestive system gets weaker, which again is part of the aging process because we're not absorbing our nutrients like we used to. So a good way to treat your colon is with something called probiotics. Pro meaning in favor of, and biotic meaning life. So it's in favor of life. It helps. It's the reason we're alive. And these friendly bacteria are really good for your gut. Now, you can get them things from fermented foods like yogurt, which I don't recommend you eat dairy yogurt. You can do soy yogurt, almond yogurt, that's fine. Sauerkraut. Now, fermented things like sauerkraut, kimchi are very high in something called glutamic acid. Now, glutamic acid, if you're sensitive like I am, can give you headaches. You might know the term monosodium glutamate. It's the glutamate part of monosodium glutamate that gives you the challenges, and that's where you get your glutamic acid from. Glutamic acid is glutamate. So just be careful. If you notice you're eating fermented foods and getting headaches or achy, you can get them from supplements. I take Dr. Joe's probiotic. It's on the website, drjoe.com. Folks, got to go to a break. Don't go anywhere. A lot more to talk about. We're talking about things you need as you get older. Again, any questions, want to make an appointment, lots of information, drjoe.com. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Thanks for hanging around. If you hung around, if you're just joining us, welcome. Always a pleasure to have you here. We're talking today about things you need as you get older because our nutrition needs change. Our dietary requirements change. And unfortunately, so many people stay in that old school way. I know it big thing with athletes, like football players. When you were playing football, if you played at, even high school level, I mean, I remember going home and eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and, Dunkin' Donuts. And as much as, you eat, you didn't gain weight. But I was also, gym class was every day. Football was every day after school. After football, you go play basketball with the gang. So you were younger, had a better metabolism, and you were in motion. So as you get older, our requirements need, but the food supply chain, has changed as well. the nutrition in a lot of foods is lower. Now, we talked last week about organic foods, and organic foods sometimes have similar amount of some nutrients. It's lower in others, but they also have something called phytochemicals in them and phytonutrients, which help with cancer and blood supply and healing blood vessels. But as we get older, our needs do change. And the food supply now has things like chemicals in it. We didn't have glyphosate when we were kids. That's a weed killer sprayed on a lot of foods. We didn't have genetically modified food. Cows were fed grass. Now they're fed corn and soy, genetically modified corn and soy. So it's a very different world today than it even was 20, 30 years ago. So it's important you understand that as you go through your life cycle, there's going to be different requirements. You can't eat like you did when you were a football player and not expect to have consequences. I mean, I got to be so careful now. Anything. If I have one bad meal, I feel like I put on 10 pounds. And if I say a bad meal, it may not be, ideally raw food and things like this. So it's a lot harder, but once you get into this lifestyle, and you just have to make a little change here. You don't have to do everything. You make little changes here and there, you get blown away with the results. And then you'll cheat. You'll feel awful. And then you have to sit down and have a little soul searching and say, was it worth it? The answer 100% of the time is no, it's never worth it. It's never worth cheating on your body because your body's going to know about it. Your body's going to catch you. You might be able to cheat on your spouse, but you can't cheat on your body. It's going to get you. So understand there are things that are different as we get older. We were talking earlier about probiotics, good bacteria. In your colon, about 70%, 80% of your immune system is in your colon, and that's a lot of it due to the bacteria. And a lot of people eat things all day, every day to kill off the good bacteria. Well, Dr. Joe, I don't kill off my good bacteria. Why would I do that? That's stupid. How about chlorine in your water? That can kill off bacteria. How about, we talked about glyphosate, weed killer, that's sprayed on products, on foods. If it's sprayed on a food and the animal eats it, it can build up in their meat. Then you're eating their meat. So glyphosate can kill off bacteria in your colon. So good bacteria should overpower the bad bacteria. Now, we have both in our colon, but the good bacteria should override the bad bacteria. I take a probiotic every single day. Good probiotic can help with irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea, may even prevent some allergies, help the immune system. They're likely safe. I don't have a problem with it. I take probiotics every day. It's one of my supplements I take. It's on the website, drjoe.com. The supplements I take, by the way, I have on the website. Because when I formulated them or I got them from other sources, these are the ones I take every day. I take almost all of them. There's a couple I don't, but I don't need them. But yeah, probiotics should be part of your diet every single day. Now, Essential Source has probiotics and something called prebiotics. Prebiotics, new word for you. Prebiotics are carbohydrates. They feed the good bacteria. So if you eat a prebiotic, like fructooligosaccharides, there's a good word for you, or inulin. These aren't food for you, they're food for the bacteria in your colon. And as long as they're being fed, they'll make little bacteria babies and they'll help populate your colon. So another reason why you should take Dr. Joe's Essential Source, because it has pre and probiotics in it. But I take an additional probiotic just to be sure. Now, with supplements, if you take too much of them, you might get diarrhea, and then you go, okay, I probably took too much of it. But generally speaking, supplements are pretty safe as long as you follow the rules. Don't take a bottle of omega-3 fatty acids, but I take omega-3 fatty acids every day for my brain function. So not a bad thing. Omega-3 fatty acids, speaking of, are called essential fatty acids because your body can't make them. So again, you need them. Remember we said, what does your body need? That's what the show is all about, things you need as you get older. And if it's an essential fatty acid, that means your body can't produce it on its own. They're important for your eyes, your brain, your reproductive system. They help protect against age-related diseases like Alzheimer's, arthritis, macular degeneration. I have macular degeneration, by the way. I was told years ago, you have macular degeneration. There's nothing you can do about it. You're probably going to go blind. Well, I don't go quietly into the night. Never have. And I started taking, of course, Super Green Essential Source, omega-3 fatty acids, nitric oxide. I put together a whole protocol, and my macular degeneration is getting substantially better as I'm getting older, which is really kind of cool. My eye doctor is blown away. They're like, how is your eyes getting better? Macular degeneration never gets better. And I have if you go to our website, drjoe.com, just type in macular degeneration, D-R-J-O-E, drjoe.com, type in macular degeneration, and you can see pictures of my eyes. Those are my eyes, promise you. And you can see how they're getting better as the years are going by. And that's how I want to be. I want to get better as I get older. I remember going to my high school reunion, and everyone's like, Espo, you haven't changed. You got a little less hair, but that's about it. Well, I don't change much. I like staying ageless and timeless. And one of the things you do that is by giving your body the nutrients that it needs and giving the supplements, because again, you're not absorbing like you used to, supplementing that so that your body can still function on that younger level. And that's kind of fun. So omega-3s are really important. You can get them from walnuts, flaxseed oil. You can get them from fish. Fish is not a good source for omega-3 fatty acids. If you're taking a fish omega-3 fatty acid, I recommend you don't, because you run the risk of contamination with things like mercury. It can go rancid very quickly. Fish oils can go rancid very quickly. That's why omega-3 should always be in a dark bottle. You shouldn't let sunlight get on them. You don't want to heat them up. Don't leave them in a hot car. So fish, not a good choice. Krill, Krill, might be a better choice. And krill oil is a great source for omega-3 fatty acids. It's in what's called the phospholipid form. That's a big word. Phospholipid form is the form you need to absorb into your body. So it's in a phospholipid form, but it's still not the best form, because krill don't produce omega-3 fatty acids, neither do fish. They get it from eating algae. Algae is the purest form of omega-3 fatty acids. And that's the one I take every single day, and I think you should too. Now, on the bottle, on drjoe.com, it says take 1 a day. You can take 1 a day, and that's really good if you do that. I take 2 a day. I'm fighting this aging thing really hard, and the essential fatty acids can be part of that protocol. And we need them. And no matter what age you are, you need essential fatty acids. And so that's why I recommend you get them from a supplement, because even if you're eating, let's say, fish, and you're going to say, well, Dr. Joe, I don't care what you say, I'm going to eat my fish because it's high in omega-3 fatty acids. All right. If it's wild fish, it probably is. If it's farm-raised fish, has very little omega-3 fatty acids in it. But here's the catch with fish. I just said that omega-3 fatty acids should be in a dark bottle because sunlight can destroy it. Heat can destroy it. If you cook the fish, you're killing off a lot of your omega-3 fatty acids. You're destroying it with heat. Now, I'm not saying you should eat raw fish. That's not a good choice either. So if you think you're eating fish for the omega-3s, what was the Styx song? You're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself if you believe that, because when you cook it, omegas are destroyed. That's why I take a supplement. Somebody at the break was asking about zinc. Many Americans don't get enough zinc. It's really an underappreciated micronutrient. Micronutrient means really you don't need a lot of it. It helps your sense of smell and taste. It fights infections. It fights inflammation. It does a lot of jobs, especially for the older bodies. I know with this virus that went around a while ago, people were losing their sense of smell and taste. And one of the things I recommended was taking zinc. Not too much, though. Too much of it can cause problems. Now, you can get it from wild rice. You can get it from cashews, pumpkin seeds, beans, spinach. Essential Source. Of course, when I made Essential Source, I probably told this story already. When I made Essential Source, I sat down with a friend of mine named Ron out in Los Angeles, California. I flew out there several times. Ron and I would sit in a place. We'd go to a place every time I was out there called Follow Your Heart. Great little health food store, great cafe, unbelievably good food. And we'd sit there for hours and just formulate. And what else can we add in there? Well, you need zinc. All right, how much zinc are we going to put in there? How much, vitamin C and copper? And we put together all the nutrients that we can think of. We had dried fruits and vegetables in there because that has the phytonutrients in it that, you don't get in a bottle. You have to get from a plant. And so we put it all together, and I consider it the ultimate supplement. It's the one I take every day. And it's on the website, drjoe.com. So if you're not taking Essential Source and Super Greens, I take a scoop of each every day, you're really cheating yourself. And why would you want to cheat yourself? You can't fool yourself. You can't fool Mother Nature. So it will catch up to you if you deplete your body of nutrients. So why do that? It's real quick and easy and inexpensive to do. It tastes good. drjoe.com. Get your stuff there. Or come pick it up in our offices. If you pick it up in our offices, it saves you shipping. And I'm happy to save you shipping. Why would I want to charge you for things I don't have to? I pay the post office or pay you. I don't care. So you can come to our offices, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, pick it up, and you save some shipping too. And all our supplements are at the offices. So, and we can customize a plan for you if you need us to. So zinc, selenium is another one that's really deficient in a lot of people. It protects the cells from damage and infection. It keeps your thyroid working right. Selenium can also keep your muscles strong, prevent age-related things like dementia, certain types of cancer, thyroid disease. Again, fighting old man time here. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day, actually you probably need about 3 or 4 a week, will give you plenty of selenium. Don't overdo it. Too much selenium can make your hair fall out and make your nails brittle. So just be careful with selenium. It's one of those you want to be in the Goldilocks zone. Not too much, not too little, just where you want to be. But Brazil nuts, like I said, 4 or 5 a week is really all you need. Mushrooms, a good source of selenium as well. So we're talking today, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. What we're talking about today are things you need as you get older. And we're covering nutrients here. There's a lot of other things we can talk about: chiropractic care, brain exercises, breathing exercises, fixing your digestive system, getting your feet right. Because so many people have bad feet, we can adjust the feet. On a tangent, while I'm there, we have a machine here in our offices, and it's called an acoustic wave therapy. Sometimes called shockwave therapy, but I don't like to call it that because it's not really a shock, but it's not a good name. So acoustic wave, shockwave therapy, and it sends sound waves essentially into an area and can break up scar tissue, can help stimulate new cell growth in the area, can stimulate new blood vessel growth. Really a cool machine. And we've used it on, all the joints in the body, and most people are just loving it. And with feet issues, with plantar fasciitis, knee issues, I know I went hiking the other day. My right knee was hurting a little bit. And what happened was I tightened up what's called my tensor fasciae lata. I know it sounds like a big word. It's the side of your thigh. That muscle tightened, pulled my knee out of place. I was having pain on a medial side of my knee, the inside of my knee. So I took the acoustic wave therapy. I broke up my tibial band, iliotibial band. Then I treated the knee itself. And within about 5 minutes, I was fine. So it's an additional therapy that we do along with the chiropractic, along with the nutrition, along with getting the stomach working, so that we can try to get the best results for you. So if you have a health issue, and most people do, I don't know why you haven't made an appointment to come see us yet. Biggest complaint I get by far: why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I wait so long to come see you guys? And my answer is always, I don't know. I've been here for 38 years. Missed a half a day of work in 38 years. 8 degrees, 23 certifications. No reason why you shouldn't come to see us. So if you want to make an appointment, normally the first visit is $712. For our listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, complete nutrition evaluation. So make an appointment for you, your friends, your family. Don't waste time. Stop suffering. If you have a health issue, it's probably not going to get better on its own, especially as you get older. But even for young kids, we treat babies fresh out of the womb. We've treated people well into their hundreds. So if you'd like to make an appointment, drjoe.com. We accept people with all insurances. It depends what your coverage is. We accept it. It just depends what they cover. Medicare, Ambetter. If you're ever in a car accident, please, I'm begging you, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So if you want to come see us, drjoe.com. Love the opportunity to see you. My doctors, I consider some of the best in the world. They're my doctors. So if I trust them treating me, I trust them treating you. You're in really good hands, drjoe.com. Supplements on drjoe.com. And any questions you have, send them to me through the website. A little bot pops up, says, hey, want to chat? Send me questions. I'm happy to talk to you, drjoe.com. Other nutrients and other things we're missing as we get older. Potassium. It helps your heart, your kidneys, your muscles, your nerves. It helps protect against stroke, high blood pressure, osteoporosis. Most people don't get enough. Dried apricots will do it. Bananas, spinach. Those are all good sources. Super Green's an essential source, of course, would be great. So once again, I'm trying to make Essential Source and Super Greens your kind of go-to thing if you're not eating a perfect diet. If you are eating a perfect diet, you should also take it because it enhances that perfect diet. Trying to make it easy for you folks. I really am. Chiropractic. Most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. Most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. Why would you go anywhere else with back pain that isn't the most effective, least expensive? I don't know. Now, we can't treat everybody. We can't help everybody. So sometimes we have to co-manage a case with our medical directors and things like this. But in most cases, we get amazing results. So drjoe.com if you want to make an appointment. Folate. It's a natural form of what's called B9, vitamin B9. It's in green leafy vegetables, nuts, beans, other foods. Pregnant women, of course, should make sure they're getting folate or folic acid. It can help prevent against birth defects. So if it helps pregnant women and you're not pregnant or a woman, you should probably also take it. I take Dr. Joe's B complex as part of my protocol just to make sure I'm getting all my B vitamins. Folate helps cell growth, may protect against stroke and certain types of cancers. Most Americans kind of get enough. That's not one of the ones we're too deficient in. Too much folic acid can raise your odds of having some nerve issue. So when people come in, we do a nutrition evaluation on all our patients. Every patient that comes in is offered it. It's part of their treatment plan. We don't even charge extra for it. It's just part of your treatment plan. And sometimes I'll look at people, I'll say you're taking too many vitamins. Cut back a little bit, but most people you're fine. But lentils, avocados, broccoli, you're going to get plenty of it as long as you're eating a good plant-based diet, which you should be doing anyway. The one nutrient that most people don't get enough of that is so key to overall health is fiber. You know why it's important? It helps protect against strokes. It helps you go to the bathroom more efficiently. It lowers your cholesterol, your blood sugar, helps flush out old hormones out of your body. Because what happens is your liver breaks things down and passes them through the gallbladder into your small intestine and passes them out. So that's a way to detoxify the body. So a couple of things can happen. Number one is you can eat a bad diet, high fructose corn syrup, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, and it can actually clog up your liver. Sometimes it's called fatty liver. When I went to school 100 years ago, we were taught that if somebody has fatty liver, they're an alcoholic. That's it. Alcohol caused fatty liver. That was the end of the statement. Now we're finding fatty liver in some children as young as 4 and 5 years old. How could that be? These kids aren't drinking alcohol. It's coming from their diet, specifically high fructose corn syrup, which, by the way, is everywhere. So high fructose corn syrup can cause problems. And so that can cause a fatty liver. And then also, like I said, you're passing your waste products through your liver, gallbladder, into your colon. And the fiber kind of wraps around these bad foods, excess cholesterol, estrogen, and flushes it out. If you have a low-fiber diet, you pass it into your intestines, and it can be reabsorbed. And it gets reabsorbed, and the bad stuff then gets recycled. We don't want to recycle the bad stuff. So fiber is really important. Now, they say, whoever they are, women should get at least 21 grams a day, men 30 grams a day. Most people don't come close to that. I think everybody should get about 50 grams a day. If you're eating 50 grams of fiber a day, I know you're eating a good diet, unless you're taking fiber supplements. But I know you're eating a good diet if you're eating 50 grams of fiber a day, and it's amazing. Keeps your weight down, helps bloating, gas, bad breath. So many benefits to eating fiber. And where do you get fiber from? Plants. You can't get it from animal products. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, if it's made with white flour, have very little fiber in them. So if you're eating fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, again, if you don't know what to eat, go to our website, drjoe.com, type in the search bar, so what can I eat? Listen to a lecture I did. It was just me in a studio one day for an hour, just rambling on. And it's a really good guideline as to what to eat. And my first book I ever wrote was all about what to eat. It's called Eating Right for the Health of It. And that's a good guide, too. That's on the website. And there's plenty of information out there I'm giving you. You could spend a good portion of your adult life on that website, and you'll get a heck of a lot of information. And you'll be very happy that you learned this, because I don't teach anything that isn't going to help you. That's my goal, is to naturally get you well and keep you well. So you get your vitamins, minerals, and fiber. The best foods are going to be from fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. Now, I take supplements exactly for what the word says. It's a supplement. It supplements a good diet. It's not instead of a good diet. It's an addition to a good diet. Now, if you have a bad diet, supplements are great because you're not getting a lot of those nutrients. If you have a good diet, the supplement's going to bring you to a whole nother level of health. One of my bosses at the station the other day, she stopped me. She says, "You're going to be in the office next week?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I need to sit down with you." And I said, "Why is that?" And she says, "I really want to take my health to a whole nother level." And unfortunately, her mom passed away recently. And I understand. I've lost my mom too. And I looked at her. We had the connection there for a moment, this bonding of, I hate to be in that club, but we are. And I said, "We're not 16 anymore. And it's time we take our health really seriously, because how many of you know somebody who has serious health problems? All of us do. And how many of those people don't regret not taking better care of themselves. Everyone does. When you get to that point, say, what could I have done differently? We can do it in a relationship. What could I have done differently? You can do it in a job. You can do it with family members, and you can do it with your health. What could I have done differently? Well, I'm telling you what you can do differently. I'm giving you all the tools you need, in most cases, to get to this higher level of existence, this higher level of health. And it's so easy, and it's so quick, and it's so inexpensive, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing it. Same thing with pain. We're talking today, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, by the way, if you just tuned in. We're talking today about the things that you need as you get older. And if you have pain, the pain, if it's there, I always say if it's more than 3 days, it's going to be there. You need treatment for it. It's just going to get worse. Now, there's two approaches to pain, and I'm board certified in pain management. One is we treat the symptom. I've got a headache. I can take an aspirin. My pain goes away. Excellent. Very good. However, it doesn't get to the cause of the problem. It only treats the symptom. Now, if I'm in pain, I want to get rid of the pain as quickly as possible. I want to get rid of my symptoms. But don't take for granted the fact that you're out of pain. Think about what's going on and say, what can I do to treat the cause of this? Because pain is a warning sign. It's telling you that there's something wrong. Acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, pain, headaches, lack of sleep, low libido, dizziness. These are all warning signs telling you that something's not functioning right in your body. And what can we do to fix it? And the way we fix it, the treatment I've come up with in 40 years of studying, well, more than 40 years now, of studying, 38 years in practice, normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, good nutrition. That's it. And you don't have to do it all. Do a little bit. I'm going to take Super Greens and Essential Source for a week every day and see what happens. Wow, I have more energy. I'm feeling better. I'm going to the bathroom better. What else can I do? Well, I have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. You can come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Make an appointment. Wow, that was amazing. That helped me get better. And here's the thing, 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. Let me say that again. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve and not know it. So, for example, you don't feel your blood pressure. You don't feel your spleen, your kidneys, your toenails, your prostate, your ovaries. So my doctors are taught not only to test the nerves that feel pain, we also test the nerves that don't feel pain. Because if we take you on as a patient, we don't want to get you out of pain. We want to get you well. And if you're ever in a car accident, I promise you this, if the car's damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So if you're in a car accident, come see us immediately. And don't fall for this scam. Oh, it goes nuts with this. Every time somebody's in a car accident, your police report's posted online. You'll get the scammers calling you and saying, hey, Joe, come see us. Come see this doctor. Come see this lawyer. That's a scam. No one will ever call you to say, go see a doctor or lawyer if you're in a car accident. So don't fall for that. If you want to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, drjoe.com.